1997 Bendigo Football League Grand Final. See Kyneton take on Golden Square's ferocious Bulldogs and join special guests Colin Hewitt and Tom Havey for the big one. 2 o'clock Sunday, live and only on 10 Victoria.
Social clubs.
As many of you know, Sale of the Century's Glenn Ridge started his television career in Bendigo during the 1980s, when this station was known as TV8. Glenn hosted a popular music program called Breezin. Let's catch up now with Glenn and reflect on the early days. G'day, Glenn.
Pleasure, how are you? Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Fancy meeting you at a bar. Unbelievable.
An old-timer from country television.
Grab a seat. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you again, Glenn.
Yeah.
1980. Can you tell us about your start in regional television?
1980 seems like an eternity ago. Actually, it was a lot of fun. I look back at it quite vividly because at that stage I was doing radio at 3CB in Bendigo, and a couple of guys came up with some ideas about having a music video show. And at that stage, what was it? Night Moves was on, and also Countdown was really big, and there was nothing really happening in the regional areas. So we got together with record companies and put together Breezin, which was a lot of fun. And initially, I was doing the album reviews. So I would go in there and do the usual, this is, that was, this is what happens, and all that sort of thing. And I really enjoyed it because it was a whole break from radio for me, and it was stepping into something else which I never thought I would continue on as a career. It was always a bit of a hobby. And those years in country TV were a lot of fun because although it wasn't the initial starting of television, but it was certainly in the middle where lots of things were happening and it was going technically in lots of different directions.
Breezin, what was the dress code for the host?
It was pretty casual. In fact, we were dressed at that stage by Ultimate.
Oh, they're still there?
Are they? Oh, fabulous, the Van Handels and all that. And it was really good fun because it was the novelty thing. You've got to remember this is the guys who are involved in radio, then going down to the local menswear store, which normally you would only go down there once a year because that's all you could afford. We're going in there on a weekly basis and you're getting in all the really slick gear and everything, and it was good fun. I look back now and I cringe. Thankfully my kids can't see Breezin now, so I'd be ashamed.
Glenn, what about some of the music in 1980 and when you were doing the show Breezin? Do you remember much about the songs that were famous in those days?
Yeah, look, well, George Benson, of course, Breezin, the theme, that was one of the big ones. Kiss was into it, would you believe? That was one of the big groups coming through. Breezin was more a middle-of-the-road sort of feel show, and it was a great one because you come home on Friday night after being at the pub and you'd sit down and watch Breezin, and all kind of fitted in. You fell asleep in front of the TV. But the Eagles, we had a lot of the Eagles stuff which was there. Peebo Bryson was in there, so it had that real West Coast feel. I'm just trying to think, who were some of these? Oh, Australian Crawl was right in there at that stage too.
What do you think you got out of that experience, Glenn?
Oh, look, heaps, Bezo. As I say, when you look back at it, for example, you get an overall view of what it's like, the whole business. For example, when I go in to do Sale now, my job is simply to go and host the show, whereas in country TV it was a case of you're having to do everything, you're having to get experience of doing the lot because of that numbers. And I look back at it now, and had I not had that experience, I wouldn't have the appreciation of what an audio guy does or some of the difficulties which a cameraman has. And it kind of, I think it puts you in a better spot to appreciate what happens as far as the whole business is concerned. I can remember, for example, when my first time on Sale, and I was picking things up and doing this, I even picked up a cable, and one young lady came up and said, oh look, that's my job. I thought, oh, fair enough. And I think that's just a case of I'm now employed to do a job and I concentrate on that job. Other people are employed to do their job and they concentrate on that job. Whereas if I didn't have the country experience before that, I wouldn't have known exactly what was involved in it.
If you look back at your career from 1980 onwards, what do you think was the turning point in your career that led you to getting the job on Sale of the Century?
I probably never took the business seriously, and I still make a habit of not taking it seriously because the business is such that you can be in it one day and you can be gone the next, but the opportunities which are open to you whilst you're in it are quite great. And I guess one of the biggest things which I'm proud of now is that I got out of television before I got into Sale. At that stage I was with Channel 6 and had a difference of opinion. Aggregation was coming in, of course all your viewers know about that. And that's a thing of the past now, but in 1980, when was that, 1989, I got out of the business completely and got involved with the pub in Mildura. And at that stage I thought, well, hey, I've had a lot of fun in television. I'll now go into the hospitality side because I've drunk in enough pubs and eaten enough restaurants. I knew how it worked. Unfortunately, I'm still here. And I'm wrapped that I had the balls to get out of it then. Over that period, there were things I needed to make some money somehow, so I just knocked on doors and took some tapes around to get some voiceover work and things like that. And that was probably the luckiest thing, because one of the doors I knocked on was Grundy's, and that was about, would have been about 13 or 14 months before Tony actually left. And Grundy's recalled that tape, and they asked me if I'd like to come in and audition for Sale. And even through that whole audition process, I never took it seriously. It was a case of, oh, look, I doubt if I'll get the job. In fact, I'm pretty sure I won't, but I'll have a good time while I'm doing it.
When you look back, you think you're still one of the lucky ones to get that break?
Oh, yeah. Look, there are lots of people out there who can do what you and I are doing. We just don't like to admit it on occasions. But it's been seen, and I was lucky in the situation that when Sale was offered, I took over from a person who everyone perceived was Sale. But what they forgot was there are lots of people around. For example, when I go in and do Sale, I still have the people around me who are around Tony. And it's those people who you don't see on camera, the people who make the show work. I was certainly lucky to be given that opportunity to take over on Sale. And look, there isn't a day goes by where I don't consider myself lucky in that. I'm surrounded by good people, and even in the country days, you know, I was surrounded by really good people there who had a desire to do things properly. And I think that's probably the luckiest thing I've had in my life, you know, that I have been able to be surrounded by good people. And those good people who are around Tony are now around me, and that's why Sale's been going for 17 years.
Is there any regret you have not having a start in something that you really wanted to do in television?
Not really, no. I've always made sure that I enjoy everything I do in the business, because, as I say, it could end tomorrow, and I don't want to be bitter about it. I want to go back and say, hey, I had a good time doing Breezin, I had a good time at Channel 6, and I had a great time doing Sale. But when your time's up, you've got to realise your time's up. So I've purposely made sure I have no regrets. What I'm trying to do at the moment is do as much as I can. We do some documentaries around the place, and that's what I say. With Sale, for example, it's opened up a lot of doors and given me a lot of opportunities. So when it ends, I want to have a whole heap of fun memories, which I'm sure I will, touch wood.
Okay. Glenn Ridge, thanks for your time and good luck.
Good catching up with you, Vesa.
Out they go at crazy prices. Prices like these. Flannelette, just 19 cents a yard. We have then woolens. Woolens, new fashion woolens in all crazy prices, ranging from $1.99 to $2.99 to $1.50.
On
One of the more familiar faces on your local television